Alright, this is the 2012 Out of Work and 24/7 ODA Hybrid Killing Lure of the Year.
Alright, Hybrid Killer just called out. It's another hybrid. And this is just trying to keep it off the wall. Oh my gosh, I never thought hybrids would hit this late in the season. It is on, I'm telling you, it is on. There's like a school of them over there, but it is so hard to cast to. You need precision casting, plus the right size Castmaster, plus the rod, plus the reel. Like if you want to hit up this spot his dude's casting out to, like literally, dang, it is taking line. It is still out there. It's like we have a chance at a personal record right here.
There it is.
Oh, there it is right there. Water splash. There it is. It is guaranteed to be a hybrid. I just looked at his head. This is a good size hybrid too. Come on, battery. I'm down to like 5%. Let's see this fish. Oh, dang. Okay, let's go to the landing spot. Always pick a good spot to land your fish. Is running still? Oh my gosh, that's a good size. It's still going. Give it space. Alright, I think he's almost ready to come in. Alright, come on. Come on. It's hooked good too. Right in the corner lip. Come on. Corner lip hooks. Corner lip hook. That is perfect. I love when it hooks like that. That's a guarantee catch if you don't mess it up with the line. Dang, son. That's the biggest hybrid this guy has personally caught. Oh my goodness, damn, that is freaking crazy. Oh my goodness, that shit is nuts.
Hi, if you guys don't know what this is the Castmaster made by Acme Tackle Corp. This spoon is fish in saltwater and freshwater, made out of brass and chrome plated for rust resistance. The price range for these range around like $3 all the way up to $15 depending on the sizes. They come from like 1/4, which is this one, but they range from like 1/32 gram or 1/32 ounce to all the way up to like 4 ounces. And where you can acquire these are, if you want smaller ones up to an ounce, you can buy them at Walmart. But these guys here in Oklahoma, I had to buy a Bass Pro. Bigger ones, like 1.5 ounces, 2 ounces, 3 ounces, and 4 ounces, you have to buy them online. And Castmasters, if you haven't got one in your tackle box this year for hybrid season, you gotta pack one up, because it is the lure. Castmaster. I learned about Castmaster when I was a little boy. We were used to fish it for trout. Cast trout really good on Castmaster, like this size right here. The little quarter ounce. This little guy. Catch trout really good. The Castmaster catch pretty much any fish that bites, like bait fish. I have caught trout, pike, crappie, stripers, hybrids, sand bass. Sand bass love these little guys. How I learned really to use it is using these for trout and sand bass only. And then one day I was up at home base, which is OOW Dam. I saw a guy with one of these big ones, you know, and he was like just chucking it into the current. I was like, man, what is this guy doing? What is he fishing for? But every other cast he'll bring in a hybrid, and at the time, last year around this time, I didn't know like what to use for hybrid other than just straight up flukes. So what he did was he was just chucking one of these into the currents and letting it bounce around the wall and just let it hit like the bottom, dragging it on the bottom with the concrete floors and everything. And like hybrids or catfish will hit them. Oh yeah, we caught catfish on these too. And he'll drag one out every other cast, and I'm like, what is this guy using? I gotta learn his secrets. So I reserved him for 30 minutes and got me convinced enough to pick a big Kastmaster the same day. Kastmaster, they come in all sorts of color. Like this one is silver, is chrome and green top. They have a all gold one. These gold ones work great on walleye. That's why I also caught walleye. Loves gold. They come in like pink, rainbow color, trout color for trout. They come in all sorts of color, like all lime green, blue, just straight up all chrome. I seen a brass one before, and they come in all sorts of color, depending on what kind of fish you're fishing out there that loves a certain color. And they all come with like saltwater hooks. These are pretty big. They're probably like size 4. The casting distance on these things are amazing. It's like shooting a bullet with your fishing rod for results. For casting, once you throw it, the rear of the Castmaster flies out like this, like a bullet, and when it lands, most of the time it doesn't hang up in your line. And then when you retrieve it, it usually swims in a fish motion. And if you have a bucktail on it, it has more motion like that. But no, you just reel it in, straight reeling in, works good. If you decide to give it a little jerk here and there between reeling in, it gives it a sideways swing, like that effect. And the fish loves that reaction strike. Retrieving one of these guys, usually throwing it pretty far, so you don't want it to sink all the way down, getting it stuck. So you're usually retrieving it pretty fast. And what happens if the fish hits it like this, you'll hear a thump in your line, and sometimes it'll hook himself, but you will want to set your hook anyways. And depending on how deep you fish it, the deeper it is, the cast, you let it sink longer, and just slow retrieve at like that sink rate, and it should be around like that. For example, like if you throw it and you let it sink 5 seconds, it might be like around 10 feet of water, like swimming at 10 feet of water or retrieving at 10 feet of water. And the faster you reel, the higher it comes up. The slower you reel, the lower it sinks and the lower your retrieve is. The Castmaster comes in the option of a triple hook or a single hook, and the hooking ratio for the triple hook is roughly right around 60%. Hooking ratio means as you actually set the hook and bring the fish in and land the fish. The other 40% is actually called a miss, where you actually lose the fish while fighting it. And 60% for the triple hook is fairly good for my experience. And for the other option, which I don't have, is a single hook. And the single hook hooking ratio is right about the same. right around like 50 to 60, but the snagging rate on the single hook is a little less. You tend not to snag fish with it or get it on the side of the face with it.
Or you get stuck on the ground.
Or get a snag on a rock or a log or any of other snagging purposes. When you first purchase a Castmaster, it does not come with a ring in the front like this one. I had to personally put this ring on myself. If you do not put a ring on, it usually cut your line as soon as you get a hit and you set your hook. Usually that little hole right there will cut your line. It's almost like a razor blade built in, so you had to put a ring on or a swivel. Most Castmaster doesn't come with a bucktail, which you could put on a bucktail. But in my experience, sometimes if it's legal in your state, you just put the bucktail on with the hook, so you have like 2 triple hook or a single bucktail hook with a triple hook, so your hooking ratio is a little bit better. But for if you want to like add on or take off, is up to you. The reason for a bucktail is you add more motion to the Castmaster, and you add I usually put white. I just had a red one. The red one didn't put out yet, but it just adds more motion to your fishing lures, and it seems like the fish reacts to the shininess of your lure, but will hit a bucktail, and that attracts a fish. And then when it gets to your lure itself, it actually wants to bite a bucktail, so it goes after your bucktail instead of just a shiny lure. So it seems to put out maybe twice as much with a bucktail. I remember during Hybrid Heat 4, I was running it with bucktail while all the other guys wasn't really running it. They were just running their plain Castmaster, and I tended to caught 3 fish that day when everybody caught like 1 or 2. So it does make a difference. One day it might bite with a bucktail, and one day it might not. So you might want to keep things a little different or switch it in and out, and play around with your lure a little bit, experience it with it, and see which one works best for you. The price range for this one is roughly around $8. They got generic ones running for like $5. But Castmaster for itself, it puts out more shine, better finish, different size available. It also seems like the hole where they drill, it's actually right in the same like in a better spot. So when you cast it and you actually hit a wall, like for me, I hit walls. So if you actually see this one right here, I hit a wall like 4 times with it, and you bent it in, and sooner or later your Castmaster will crack, and you will lose your back hook or your front hook or your front ring. When that happens, you just drill in a hole, put another ring, put another hook. Fixed for $8. But overall, for $8 it is worth it, because if you do compare it to the durability, compare it to like a crankbait that goes for $8, you could hit a wall with it and it won't crack as easy as a crankbait. So worth the money, worth having one in your tackle box. I usually carry 3 or 4. And on the other hand, if you're fishing shallow water, if you put a single hook, you have less snags. And if you find like weedless single hooks, those are the best for like shallow waters. You can fish shallow water, like 3-4 feet of water with even big Castmaster without getting snags on rocks. So if you could find like single hooks that are weedless, it's the best. The Castmaster is one of the most aerodynamic lure out there, and even this 1 ounce, it will throw farther than the 1 ounce sinker. Sometimes it will cut the wind going up, sometimes it will not. But Really good to the main point is getting it out there to where your normal lures can't get to, like where bait ball is at, or you're on shore and the fish are attacking top water, or the schooling fish is like exploding and you can't get anything out there. And it's like 40 yards from the shoreline. Hook on one of these 1 ouncer, and you have to have like a surf rod. That's what I use, but you'll get pretty close. And right around the bait ball. And schooling fish, if they're hyper, they're active, they're feeding, they'll come out after one of these little guys.
And
No problem,
So when you
guaranteed.
cast it, it sits in the back for a farther cast.